mysterious things in this world that bear keeping an eye on.
Oh my God.
I think there's something he needs to show me.
We appear to be dead.
How do you want to be remembered?
Was there another way or not?
Wake up! You're in danger!
PIFFLE, PAFFLE, Bindi.
What the hell happened?
PIFFLE! PAFFLE!
There is something weird going on.
PIFFLE, PAFFLE, Bindi.
They are coming for us! But what does it all mean?
Answer your own damn question.
It's those data freaks.
How does this crap keep happening to us?
What you're experiencing is the eternal flagellation.
We're all the way through the looking glass now.
How's it going, members of the Doom Patrol? I know I'm a little bit late to an in-depth trailer breakdown because I've only done my reaction for this so far, but I've been very busy with other videos the past week or so. But it's finally time to get into all of the details of the Doom Patrol teaser trailer. Now, admittedly here, I feel like this trailer, with how trippy it is, which is, you know, in the show's nature, kind of gives more questions than it does answers. But I'm going to give it my best go anyway. I feel like there is a lot to sink your teeth into. Plus, I'm going to dart in some really up-to-date information regarding Madame Rouge that has come out recently, and it kind of fits in with what we see in the trailer. So I'm not going to waste any more time. Go ahead and like this video if you do go on to enjoy it, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel to make sure you don't miss out on a future Doom Patrol video. And other than that, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into this. So, the very beginning of this teaser trailer, I feel like it actually shows when they're breaking out the candle wax is perhaps when they've already gone through the whole death/life aspect of this whole trailer, and it's actually taking place after they apparently died when it says arrival imminent. But what could this whole arrival imminent part to the trailer actually mean? I mean, this could be Madame Rouge time traveling, and you might be like, oh, what do you mean Madame Rouge is time traveling and arriving that way? What? Well, more on that in a moment, as we have even more very recent news, thanks to Entertainment Weekly, that shines a lot more light on this iteration of Madame Rouge. But I could be completely wrong about the whole arrival imminent part to the beginning of the trailer. Even though we will have Madame Rouge appearing in, apparently, a time machine, this arrival imminent could be a warning about something else after the big boss battle with Candlemaker at the end of last season. But we know that this takes place after they're out of the wax, so in this moment, are things over with the Candlemaker or not? It could be one of those things in the trailer where they show the very beginning bit actually being the aftermath, but if you don't pay too much attention, you might not realize that. What we see next is a continuation, or what looks to be a continuation, of what happens with Dorothy and the Candlemaker after the events of the Season 2 finale, which wasn't really the finale, because the last we saw of her, she got yeeted by the Candlemaker, and it ended up with Chief fearing for the life of his daughter, and then cliffhanger. As I kind of said, we were supposed to get one more episode, but due to the pandemic, that finale was cut short. Now, I assume that at the end of the last season, Dorothy would be going through her own little kind of boss battle in the Candlemaker's domain, or realm, if you want to call it that. But the thing is, this set here looks very, very similar to that episode when we had Dorothy on the moon, if you remember. But even if that is the case, it's not like she needs to wear a spacesuit here to breathe. So whether this is meant to be the Candlemaker's domain, or whether it is still kind of meant to be that, but a reused set, she clearly doesn't need a space mask freaking tube thing to breathe oxygen through, so I'm guessing this is meant to be the Candlemaker's domain. But what we do see is Dorothy's spinner with a bow and an arrow, so it looks like maybe she's already been through some trial and combat with the Candlemaker. Up next, though, we see Doom Patrol members Rita, Cliff, and of course Jane and Cyborg dancing in a circle with life being plastered in the middle of the shot, which also contrasts the shot in a few moments' time in the trailer where we see death plastered everywhere. Now, when we hear the voiceover from Rita saying, "We appear to be dead." Now, again, this is only just my speculation, but I'm guessing that this is them in some sort of life and death state due to the Candlemaker's wax at the end of last season. Maybe the first episode of this season will kind of be, you remember Titan Season 1, when it went into Season 2, the first episode of Season 2 felt like a finale for Season 1. I feel like this could be that, but not in a bad way. It's just obviously wrapping wrapping up things from what they didn't get to do due to the pandemic at the end of last season. So the first episode likely paying off those scenes, likely consisting of the Doom Patrol overcoming the waxed over death-like state, Dorothy defeating the Candlemaker, but then, as I speculated from the very beginning of this teaser, they perhaps come out of that wax and are already launched into the plot for the third season, with perhaps the arrival of Madame Rouge or someone or something else being that, as I said at the beginning of the trailer, we hear that arrival imminent. So I feel like they're really truly launched right after they get done with the Candlemaker into whatever is coming next, which we know pertains to the Brotherhood of Evil, Madame Rouge, the Sisterhood of Dada. But before we do take a bit more of a deeper dive into those details, we do get some shots of like Jane, I believe, riding a bicycle, and we even see Cyborg hugging this character here, of whom it makes me feel like maybe he's connecting with his mother in some kind of like afterlife scenario, which is why I think this is going to be quite a tear-jerking kind of scene for this character, because of the whole life and death state. Maybe each character kind of gets moments where they're tempted to stay. It's that kind of trope of almost like staying and being tempted by the afterlife, but no, your call to reality is much stronger and you still have a purpose. But that doesn't mean the journey in that in-between space won't provide moments like this for Cyborg. And I don't know, though, this is where it gets trippy. Will this actually be like a weird-ass spirit or something of his mother, where he actually does get some nice closure? Because that's one thing about Vic as well, with his mother's death. It was a very sudden thing, and usually in an argument or confrontation. So can you imagine some kind of closure with his mother? Because I know he's smart enough to not really feel bad about the way things ended in that argument before things exploded, but regardless, I think that would be a real tear and heartstring pull for us fans, seeing him reconnect with his mother one last time like that, if it is indeed his mother. Same kind of thing perhaps goes for the other characters. But we do get these other shots of Larry flying throughout the air, and I think this is completely unrelated to the prior two shots though, and I think that this could just be a segment of his story coming this season, at some time that is in the season, as per the journey so far in Doom Patrol. You know, because Larry is learning more about himself, but just as much as he does learn about himself, he learns more about the negative spirit, which was also very much so teed up from the character of last season, telling him even more and more about the spirit and what he can actually achieve if he achieves that harmony, if you will. And that character, if you guys remember from last season, was Valentina Vostok, if I pronounced that correctly, because she had a negative spirit of her own. And if he does hone more into the negative spirit and achieve this kind of harmony, if you will, as what we learned from Valentina last season, he can even appear as himself, really, without the scars, if he becomes a bit more in tune with it. She can even control the radiation levels and emissions of that radiation beneath her skin, so those emissions don't come out and harm others because of how powerful she's got. So I'm wondering if this is just overall generalizing this here, Larry becoming a bit more in tune with his negative spirit to the point of where he's actually appearing as himself when he's flying. But the only thing that slightly takes me away from that is that I just can't imagine Larry will achieve that anytime soon in a state of permanence, if you will, only because that would mean seeing Larry on the show as Matt Bomer, just like with no bandages, and I just can't imagine that will be the case all the time, because usually Matt Bomer just does the voiceover work. Sure, we do get some scenes with him here and then, but I would be surprised if the show kind of drops the bandages look and just goes full Matt Bomer mode like 24/7. I mean, don't get me wrong, that would be amazing, but either way, I'm definitely up for some more introspective time between Larry and his little spirit. Now, the last time we saw Cliff, if you guys remember, before he got turned into Candlewax as well, is that he was invited to his daughter's wedding, of course, Clara, but because of the whole end of the world situation, he had to leave her a voicemail, and yeah, typical, just as Cliff was finally getting some time with his daughter last season, yeah, he had to go help Dorothy, but he did leave that phone message. But here we get another flashback scene of Brendan Fraser holding a baby, so I'm sure many more wholesome Brendan Fraser moments to come, and I can't wait for that. Like, the return of Brendan Fraser is nigh, guys, and it is coming, because he's been cast in a Scorsese thing with Leonardo DiCaprio and stuff, so like, it's happening, people, it's happening. No, but really, yeah, just some more stuff, and I love seeing Brendan Fraser in moments like this in Doom Patrol, because what can I say other than I'm fucking here for it. We see Dorothy here in the corner, which I'm so over the moon about because that means she seems to be sticking around for some time in season 3 after the Candlemaker thing. At least I'm guessing. I don't know if they keep her in the whole season, but at least I'm assuming that she's in episodes after the whole first, well, kind of finale of season 2, but 301 if you know what I mean. But here we see Larry drop to the floor as if the spirit has left him, but what's behind him is himself in a very kind of sex ghost looking form. Now, I'm honestly not too sure what is going on here, and I also believe there is actually also someone standing behind this ghost-like form of Larry holding a spade. Now, I know you could say that's just Larry holding a spade / shovel himself, but as I said, if you look at it, it looks like somebody is behind him. So moving swiftly onwards, and speaking of Jane, we see her clawing her way out of the well in the underground. If you guys remember, of course, the events of last season, likely to also claw her way back to being the primary personality and tear away the fake Miranda, because let's refresh our minds, of course. We learned at the end of last season that that was kind of like a fake manifestation of Miranda because it was really the father, like, if that makes sense. The father has been kind of bleeding his way into the underground this whole time. Later on in the trailer, we do get a shot of this creepy, corrupt-looking Miranda in the underground on the train itself, so I'm guessing that this could be a confrontation between Jane and the father / fake Miranda, because don't forget, to get to the surface as the primary personality, you need to take the train. And if it wasn't weird enough before, this is when the trailer goes into pure PIFFLE mode, or PIFFLE. And honestly, I think those words mean, like, you know, words that are spoken that makes no sense, and just this foolery or whatever you want to say, which, you know, obviously sums up Doom Patrol pretty well. But I'm also thinking this speaks to the larger weirdness that will be coming with the Sisterhood of Dada. So speaking of the sister, or should I say Brotherhood of Dada, we do get a kind of gender-swapped version of that with this live-action iteration of Doom Patrol. I believe this, what you're seeing on screen right now, is the symbol of the Sisterhood of Dada, and I'm only saying that because the symbol itself reminds me of the stylistic and artistic approach to the way that Mr. Nobody is kind of drawn in the Doom Patrol comics. So I would love if anyone has any more insight on that. But if you want a little bit of backstory to the Brotherhood of Dada, which, you know, I'm sure going to be adapting just with the Sisterhood here, is that Mr. Nobody wasn't accepted by the Brotherhood of Evil, of which we actually got flashbacks to, if you guys remember, in season 1, in where we got a first reference to Monsieur Marla as well, who also appears in this trailer, and we'll get to that in a second. But in the source material, he creates his own Brotherhood, where in the comics he was actually a member of the Brotherhood of Evil, but he got kicked out. In this iteration, he wasn't even a part of them, I don't think. Regardless, in the source material, he goes to then create on his own Brotherhood. Or should I say, in this iteration, I suppose it's the Sisterhood, but I do have questions, and what I'm wondering about is if the Sisterhood of Dada has been founded all this in, like, quite a while ago. Like, was it present during season 1? But if that is the case, why wasn't the Sisterhood helping out Mr. Nobody? Or maybe they didn't need to and they were doing something else? All of these kind of questions are coming out of this trailer. But yet again, as I always say with adaptations, things aren't copy and paste, even though Doom Patrol is insanely accurate and faithful to the source material. But what adaptations should strive to do in a 50-50 kind of way is faithfulness to the source material in that handshake, but also having a little bit of a hint and a little spice of innovation. So that way people who may be more familiar with the story might get a few surprises, you know, and it makes it refreshing, of course. And it seems that is the route they are taking with the whole Brotherhood turned Sisterhood of Dada approach. This is when we actually get our first proper look, technically speaking, of Madame Rouge. Now, we have got a much nicer promo picture, which I'll lean into in just a second, but I didn't actually pick this up in my trailer reaction. I thought that this other character that you're seeing on screen was our first look at Madame Rouge, but no, that's a whole other character that is very interesting to learn about because it's another supernatural character. But this is actually our first look at Madame Rouge, and as we can tell from the Entertainment Weekly promotional photo, that really does match up. But the reason why it's kind of trippy is because her face seems to be morphing in this part of the trailer. Now, that could be down to her abilities, in which one of them is actually the ability to kind of shapeshift a bit, on top of having similar abilities to Rita and how she can kind of elasticate herself. So I'm guessing that this is a moment when her appearance is kind of being altered, and we keep getting audio of hearing, "They are coming for us." Now I'm wondering if that is a reference to the Sisterhood of Dada coming for the Doom Patrol, as this part of the trailer keeps showing that symbol. This is where things get even more interesting, because we see in this part of the trailer that there's this kind of trippy artistic imagery being, yeeted everywhere on the screen of various different Doom Patrol characters, but we do get to spot a little letter saying Laura DeMille and Sisterhood of Dada. Now, Laura DeMille. Who is Laura DeMille? Now, that is Madame Rouge herself. And as I've briefly teased about the character, she's similar to Rita in abilities, but also Laura DeMille, I hope I'm pronouncing DeMille correctly, DeMille, because she was French, Laura DeMille, okay, excuse me. But she was also an actress, just like Rita was as well. Now, in the source material, she's involved in an accident that has this kind of outcome that develops a split personality. One half of her being good, the other half being evil, which is when the Brotherhood of Evil come in. Now, Ultimax, aka the Brain, and Monsieur Marla see an opportunity here to kind of capitalize on the evil side, and through this operation, they bring that evil side to be the dominant part of her. Hence her joining the Brotherhood of Evil and being the villainous Madame Rouge we know and love, with every now and again her good personality coming to the surface. Now, Niles also in the source material, I believe, kind of helps bring that good personality out. There's also quite a bit of a romantic thing going on between Madame Rouge and Niles Calder, with the good side of her kind of always being in love with him. So you can definitely see how this is somewhat going to be adapted into the show's larger I guess mystery of how exactly they're going to adapt to, which is something I always look forward to, with the fact of, innovation mixed with source material accuracy. And speaking of just that, because if we want to delve more into that, because even though I gave you that brief description, don't worry about spoilers too much, because that's the whole point, right? It could still be adapted very creatively in various different innovative twists. For example, I wonder if the Brotherhood of Evil, after maybe losing in the past, combined with the knowledge of this time-traveling machine from Entertainment Weekly, perhaps I wonder if through the Brotherhood of Evil losing in the past, if you remember with the original Doom Patrol episode, I think that's what it was titled, we had that trophy room with the Ultimax's brain little chassis, which was broken out of, so I'm guessing Monsieur Marla recovered the brain, put it in a new case. But regardless, even though a lot of that episode was a facade, it was the case that the brain's case, if you will, was still left there. So they did indeed have a battle with him many, many years ago. So perhaps after losing in the past to when Minto was younger, maybe they send Madame Rouge into the future to infiltrate and potentially take down the Doom Patrol. But that is complete random ass speculation from me. All I'm doing there is applying logic that we've learned from the past, and the fact that Madame Rouge is a part of the Brotherhood of Evil in the comics, and there's a time machine involved, so maybe that's a ruse and a plan from the Brotherhood of Evil, Ultimax the Brain, and Monsieur Marla themselves. Plus, there's lots more Brotherhood of Evil members, but I have no idea what roster they're going to bring in this show, even though there is a few more clues that we will get to in this breakdown. Even though the Brain is somewhere out there because of that episode, as I said, he broke out, so maybe this isn't a time travel situation that was on behalf of the Brotherhood, and the Brain, I mean, if he escaped, then I guess he is still out there in present day. It's a lot of trippiness, so I'm not going to try and get into that too much more, but regardless, we do know that she time travels there, so make of that with what you will. And what we were teased with specifically from Entertainment Weekly is some even more very, very intriguing stuff about the character. And that is that we know she arrived to the Doom Patrol with a mission, but she can't quite remember what it is. Now, I'm sure this is going to have viewers, including me, very much so, and I'm sure the Doom Patrol trying to figure out if her mission was for good or for evil, and I'm sure this is how they will play into that whole duality of Madame Rouge's character of good and evil that I've aforementioned. I can imagine it kind of going down like a route of, for example, it would be pretty cool if she was sent sent here at first by the Brotherhood, but she can't remember why though, and then her good side is maybe initially the dormant one, but then her evil side comes out eventually across the span of several episodes, and the character that we perhaps get attached to completely changes. I mean, I can imagine it going something like that, but perhaps not. The intriguing aspect for me though, going back to the whole Laura DeMille letter that the Sisterhood of Dada was also present on there, is that I don't really have any knowledge as to the connections of the Brotherhood of Evil and Madame Rouge. Not Brotherhood of Evil, what am I on about? The Brotherhood of Dada. So same thing applies here with the Sisterhood. But obviously her story pertains to this gender-swapped version of the Sisterhood of Dada, so regardless, like, it's got to somehow fit in, and I'm very fascinated to know what this is. And could I be wrong, and she was perhaps sent by the Sisterhood in this iteration and not the Brotherhood? I mean, it's confusing. But the main thing to take out of this is the main attachment she has is the Brotherhood of Evil, and they're the people who did stuff to her and, like, turned her into who she is, I guess. So that's all going to come out, I'm sure, in interesting ways. Now, these drills coming up from the Earth, by the looks of it, I am wondering if it could be a part of Madame Rouge's time-traveling thing. And I say that only because I know it doesn't make sense, but here's what I mean. From that Entertainment Weekly article, they say the following: Doom Patrol is about to get very timey-wimey. A time machine will deliver a new character into the mix, Madame Rouge. Then we see that same thing drilling through the Earth behind her in this promo pic. So I'm guessing that it's a weird machine drilling time thing. We do have the showrunner Jeremy Carver explain that it's frankly a funny path of self-discovery, because when she comes to be with the Doom Patrol, she's completely forgotten who she is and what her powers are. So watching her rediscover what she can do is hopefully a lot of fun and a little silly. She's just been nothing short of amazing for us this year. So like, I'm hearing a lot of hype coming out about Madame Rouge, and of course, the actor behind her, who's a very popular one, Michelle Gomez, which I'm sure many of you have fallen in love with her from various different roles. I personally really like her because she has this very tenacious vibe about her that I think she's going to bring to the role of Madame Rouge, and I really can't wait to get into that. And now getting towards the end, in between a few shots of more villains arriving this season, and a couple of whom I believe are actually a part of the Brotherhood of Evil, such as I think that this is our first look at Garguax, and I hope I pronounced that correctly, an alien conqueror who is, as I just said, a part of the Brotherhood of Evil, but we do get a couple more shots of another couple of villains who I can't put my finger on right now, but I'm guessing they're part of the Brotherhood. But of course, guys, we get our first looks at the Brain and Monsieur Marlowe, which is complete peak chills right now. Seriously, I'm getting chills. Like, I've been wanting this since day one. Like, seriously, and we're getting it. We're getting it! And I really hope they utilized a lot this season. I hope it isn't more villains behind their chair the whole time, and then when we do see them, it's only for a few moments. I don't mind that villains behind the curtains vibe throughout the episodes, but I hope that it's not the whole season and then they only appear at the end or something. In this scene, I just picture them seated at this big villainous diabolical lair of a table, if you know what I mean, and I love all the clocks in the background because I'm guessing they're just keeping time in all kinds of places, and I'm sure some of you just think that's just a bunch of clocks, but for me, this is the way I see their little diabolical planning, and like the Brain is just taking into account absolutely everything, and they're just like, yes, very kind of Austin Powers-y Dr. Evil kind of thing, if you know what I mean. And God, these characters being brought to life, I'm sure is going to be absolutely fantastic. Speaking about that extra supernatural character, you may recognize her here. Now, on top of Crowley being Kipling, you know, Crowley from Supernatural, we have Ruth Connell here, who played Rowena in Supernatural, coming to Doom Patrol Season 3 as Night Nurse. Now, I don't know if that's an original character, because I tried looking up Night Nurse for DC Comics and Doom Patrol, and I don't know anything about that. So either way, Rowena is coming to Doom Patrol just like Crowley did, so this should be interesting. Like mother like son, I suppose, because fun fact, Rowena was the mother of Crowley. Like, this is quite trippy if you think about it, but I love it. Now, I also wouldn't be surprised with this return of the butt, or return of the butts, if this particular butt was somehow part of the Brotherhood of Evil. I would love that personally, because it would just make a butt sat at an evil villainous meeting table all the more hilarious to see. But as I said, guys, this trailer most certainly does give us more questions than answers, but it's all a part of the fun. So that is really all I have to say about it. So let me know all of your thoughts, theories, comments, what you're most excited for from what you saw in this trailer teased to you down in the comments below. I can't wait to see some of your theories expanded on some of mine, maybe. Like this video, guys, subscribe to make sure you never miss out on a Doom Patrol video, but of course, I do expect another trailer like the official trailer, so of course, expect a breakdown for that. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you fellow Doom Patrol members in the next video. Goodbye.